Hello everybody, today is March 15th, 2023, and this is my experiment investing $1 a day in 10 cryptocurrencies and $1 a day in 55 different dividend stocks. Now you see this dotted white line right here, this is the start of the day for today, and you can see right here it's been steadily going down. We can look at the week, you can see that it's been going, it was up, and it's gone down, and it's gone all sorts of different crazy. Explained that in my previous videos. You can see the month it goes and it's been constantly going down, and then it went up a little bit, and now it's going down again. We can look at the 3-month mark, and we can see right here on January 6th is when I first started investing for the first time in my life. And you can see, if you've seen in my previous videos, there's more money in there because I've deposited $750 for myself for my trading. As I've described before, once I put in money in, I don't consider that's my money anymore. It's gone. It is now with Robinhood app. And you can see right here that it's been going down and going all over the place. And if you like these results, and if you enjoy this content, please feel free to leave me a comment, smash the like button, don't forget to subscribe. I'll be posting at minimum every Monday and every Friday, sometimes on Wednesday, and sometimes throughout the week. Now I want to go ahead and dive into, if you give your money to the bank, is it still your money? Now this is the discussion that's going on right now. All these different banks are closing. All the different banks are shutting down or going bankrupt, or many different reasons, right? And so the controversy or discussion comes up is, if you give your money to the bank, or you're depositing your money into the bank, is the money still yours? At the moment of deposit, the funds become the property of the depository bank. Thus, as a depository, you are in essence a creditor of the bank. Once the bank accepts the deposit, it agrees to refund you the same amount, or any part thereof, on demand. So, what it really means, and if you read the fine print when you give your money to the bank, that money is not yours anymore. The same thing applies to when you're giving it to an application, to a trading company. That money is not yours anymore. You're putting it in. And the same concept applies for my video game concept. Once you put your money into the arcade and you give your money away, it's not your money anymore. You're playing with an IOU that's a value on it. And they can do whatever they want with it. Yeah, sure, there's the FDIC insured and all these other things. So there's all this controversy. So when you really think about it, when you put your money in, you've signed a contract saying, not mine anymore, it's the bank's. It's somebody else's. So there is this facts going on. Now, if you listen to some other videos and other people are like, oh, okay, like Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, he's telling you to invest in or to buy gold, physical gold, which I agree with him. Gold's been around for a very long time. Do I own any gold? Well, what about us that can't afford to buy an ounce of gold for $2,000 or $3,000 for a single coin of gold? What of us that can't buy or value for silver? What of us? Are we screwed? I don't have an answer for you because I'm still new to all this as well, and so I'm going to have to look at it from all different aspects and different point of view. But what I really want to point out too is the U.S. dollar, right? Because you've got to look at the world, right? And the U.S. dollar became the standard after World War II. And you can do your own history. You can look up your own. Don't just listen to everything that's on Google. Do your own history. Read true history books. Go to true sites. Look up yourself. Get your own education. You don't have to listen to me. I could be, maybe I interpreted wrong. Maybe I read it wrong. This is just my own personal opinion. But when you look at it, we here, or the people that live in the U.S., maybe you don't live in this, maybe you're in another country, and you're seeing it happen as is. China created its own digital currency, and they're testing it out, and they're using it. They're trying to get away from the dollar, the U.S. dollar. Same thing like Saudi Arabia, that's producing lots of gas. They're no longer want to just trade with the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar is no longer the number one, or they don't want it to be the number one most valued asset. And the only other number one asset is gold, if you haven't realized it. Because if you look throughout all history, just look at history, right? Romans, past, all the way to the Greeks. What type of currency has existed through millenniums? Silver, gold, physical, actual material that has lasted. Why has gold lasted so long, even back in the ancient days? Well, because it was a metal, it was heavy, it was shiny. Who knows what other reasons why gold, and because it was pretty, and because it lasted for, who knows, forever. If you take a piece of gold and you go back 1,000 years and you have that same piece of gold, it's still going to be gold. It's not going to rust. It's not going to degrade. It's there. And so that value has just been there. Where a lot of different countries in history, they've come and they've gone with dollar. And so it's I'm not trying to be like a tutor of anything. I'm just trying to point out history and what's happening today. Devaluing the value of the dollar, the US dollar, or they're trying to at least change. Other countries are trying to change, because what are we doing with the US dollar? What have we done to Russia? And what has other countries seen? Well, we put a whole bunch of limitations on them, no longer letting them be able to trade, putting on all these different restrictions on Russia. And other countries are seeing it, and they're like, oh, well, I don't want them to be able to do that to us. If we try to do anything, we are, in a sense, weaponizing and bullying other people for the US dollar. And if you don't obey the US dollar, well, we're just going to kick you out. And when you do that and you start escalating, you start bullying people, people are going to start fighting back, regardless of what happens. And why is the US still being able to go where we're at? Well, because we're the number one asset right now, the US dollar. But that's not to say that's going to still be the case later on, as we have a whole bunch of different financial issues and things are going on. So that's just one part of the history, one part of what's going on. Maybe I've opened your eyes, maybe I haven't opened your eyes, maybe you already know what's going on, or maybe you've done your own research, and maybe I'm just talking right out of my who knows, because I have no idea what I'm talking about. But this is just my own research, and as I gain more education and gain more knowledge, maybe you can gain from it too. I'll go ahead and make sure these links are in my description so you can read on it. You can check its validity. You can see if it's good, it's bad. Maybe it's a fraud site. Maybe I just grabbed some strange, weird information. So don't listen to everything I say. Don't take anything for gospel, or don't take anything you even seen on YouTube, or read anything on Google articles that are 100% true unless you have extreme evidence or proof that that is a true statement or that is true history, because history is exactly that. It's his story. It's somebody's story of what they believe to be true. And the reason why I'm bringing this up too is because if you check the history books and you look at the actual history books, you will find that the Chinese are not in the history books where they teach that the Chinese help build the railroads for the US. And that's a part of history, but it's not in the history books, or the history books for Japan as well. History is written by somebody. So you got to go look at the facts, what really did happen, and look that up for yourself. Now, another part that I want to bring up too, and I'm not trying to be a negative person here, I'm just trying to give out facts in the sense of researching and listening to other people on YouTube and seeing it, and then researching for myself and looking it up, is what is America's biggest asset? And what some people say, and this may or may not be true, I think if you look up in the U.S. government and look at the other things, there may be some, or at least some truth to it. USA's biggest asset, in the sense, from if you just Google it, is student loans. And we really think about it, because I've talked to a lot of friends and coworkers, and I'm like, do you still have student loans? And they're already 20, 30 years out of school. Like, yeah, I'm still paying my student loans, $50,000. I'm like, what? How can you still be paying your student loans? You're working this job and you're still paying student loans? Like, yeah. And I'm all thinking to myself, so you're paying interest on all of this money that you have for student loans for going to education. So you got an education, and now you're paying the student loans for it for basically the rest of your life. And it's just absolutely crazy for them to be doing something like that, in my own personal opinion. Now, everybody has their own situation. Everybody has their own financial situation. And so don't just, if you're going to go to school, find a way to go to school and pay off your debt so that you're not paying money back to the U.S. government in that particular sense. Like, yes, education is important to a key point of multiple different things. Like if you need to learn math, science, learning how to do type proper English. Like I've always been bad at spelling. I've always been bad at English in general, in a sense, and I always had bad grammar. And education may have helped me here and there, but you can also gain the same education through other things. Like there are some games which are typing games which you can help you improve your typing, your skills, and there's other programs that you can go and look up. And for example, Grammarly, you can use Grammarly. Now Grammarly may just be fake. You don't have to listen to me on that one either. But Grammarly could be used to help you at least improve in some aspect, in some forms. Maybe it doesn't correct everything properly, but it will help you in some form or fashion. I'm not a sponsor for them at all. I'm just giving you my own 2 cents and my own opinion. Now over here I also have what happened to Germany food prices after World War II. Okay, I'm coming back to the point of devaluing the dollar. Now, after World War II, Germany owed a ton of money to the other countries that it went to war with. And literally right after 1922, the cost of a loaf of bread was 200 trillion marks. Not million, trillion, billion, billions, right? Hundreds, thousands, millions, billions. So 200 billion marks in late 1923. Can you imagine carrying 200 trillion marks of paper to buy one loaf of bread because inflation was so high because they printed money to give it off. Now this is history. This is hyperinflation. This really did happen. This is not fake. This is not fake news. I know you can. This one is at least 100% true. The country was extremely in debt, and so when you listen to those other videos and they keep talking about gold is going to save everything and the dollar is going to be decreasing the dollar value, well, the possibility through history, and that's not too long ago, 1923, 1922, that's not that long ago, 100 years ago. Now some people, I don't care about history, blah, blah, blah. History tends to repeat itself all the time. And countries and nations have fell. And they have fell kind of almost in the same situation we're in now. Now, I'm just giving a history lesson. I know it may not be a part of anything that you want to learn here today. And that's why I cover just the basics of showing you really in the beginning of my videos. If you've gotten even this far, thank you for listening. Thank you for hearing me out. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I'm not trying to be a negative person. I'm just trying to give you history of what's going on. And then they also a lot of different people, they give advice. Don't invest in the stock market. Invest in gold. Well, my financial situation, I can't afford gold, and I can't afford silver, and I can afford at least $1 a day into something for right now. Maybe my financial situation can change, and yeah, I could invest in gold, which I am interested in. Like, I loved coins when I was a kid, and I loved saving and collecting coins for their value because I saw them as real money, and not just any kind of coins. I liked the idea of silver and gold, but I just, my finances don't play into that fact. So what do you do? If maybe you can leave me a comment down below and let me know, it's like, what is your situation? What would you do, right? How would you prepare yourself for what a lot of us assume may happen this year? It may not happen. There's so many different speculations of, is the world going to go into recession? Is it not going to go into recession? Well, and I say the world because I'm not just talking about the U.S. I'm talking about the entire world. There's inflation everywhere, and we are at war. Okay, however you want to put it. In my mind, when you really, really think about it, okay, this is my own personal opinion. We are basically in World War III. We are fighting against Russia. And we're not just doing it on a physical, here's these weapons, fight it. We're doing it on a financial level because we're weaponizing the US dollar against Russia. And we're not just weaponizing against Russia, we're weaponizing against a lot of different nations and company. And when you look at Saudi Arabia, who produces tons and tons of different oil, natural gases, they don't want to use the US dollar. They're willing to accept other dollar amounts, other values. And when that happens, there becomes this, well, is the US dollar going to be the number one most asset, or are we going to be others, right? And then China as well, they're trying to create a digital currency. Not trying to, they already implemented a digital currency where they're using it. And then also digital currencies are coming here to the US. And so there's this huge controversy about cryptocurrency. So now we're going to talk about cryptocurrency here, right? What about cryptocurrency? Well, when I say digitizing the money, cryptocurrency is part of that digitization. Now they may not use, they're probably not going to use, they're probably not going to use Bitcoin or other things, but the technology that's behind it is what's being used. Okay, China is taking the technology behind it. I don't, and memory may totally fail me on this one, so I just remember in some form or fashion. Maybe I believe Korea. No, that one's for sure. Korea for sure banned North Korea at least, ban cryptocurrency, right? They don't want it. They don't need it. They want it to be physical gold or whatever it is that they're planning to make their currency. But digital currency exists today. Now, I can't teach you about cryptocurrencies. Don't listen to me. Do your own research. Go out and find some valid information, whether it be through books or through people that are certified and licensed, and get the true information from them. I'm just giving you my own opinion from what I've done in my own limited amount of research. To get true knowledge, to gain true history, it takes decades of learning and growing, and situations change every single point, every single time. So I'm just sharing with you what I've learned as of recent. And again, my information could be wrong, so don't listen to me. Do your own research. You can listen to what I say, but then go do your own research and get your own truth, because truth is seeing and 100% believing. And I am just regurgitating what I have read or what I have seen or I have heard in my own fashion. Because if you think about it, like the game of telephone, right? You have the telephone and you have like 8 people in there, and somebody says something at the beginning, it gets to the end person, and the information comes out completely different. Well, the same fact can be happening here as well. So don't believe what I'm saying, because I could be misconstruing what I learned or what I remember what I'm saying based on what I read. So do your own research and get your own truth. Now you can also see here that a lot of things are going down and failing, and I have to give you my own personal prediction. My own personal prediction is almost all of these are going to go even further down. I expect much more hurt to be coming, because when you look at the truths of what's happening, what has been announced and declared, the Fed needs to get the interest rate, the inflation rate, down to 2%. And because they need to get inflation down to 2%, and we're at 6% right now, that's 4% more down, more hurt is coming. More layoffs, more bank crashes, more things are coming and they're going to hurt you. But the main reason why I'm staying in, because I can't, it's not that I can't, is I choose to not be within gold and silver because I can't financially afford it at the current moment in time. And even if I did, I don't see it increasing in that sense, right? You're for me, if you're investing in stocks for my own self, each one of these businesses, you have to look at them a business, not just a number or value. They're each trying to work to grow themselves to become more valuable. And in that sense, when you come over here, and I come over to my history, and I look at my dividends, this is what keeps me in the game, right? I know the value is going to go down. I know for right now, this year, next year, maybe in the next 5 years, it'll be a constant going down. But as long as they are paying out a portion of their company in dividends to myself, I see myself still staying in for the long term to hold on. Because the buy and hold strategy as an investor, if you look at some of those people, is more of a strategy that I see myself going into. And you can listen to those other people. You can look up Rich Dad Poor Dad. You can see his channel. His channel, although he tells about a lot of bad news, in a sense, is more for education, to teach yourself to think for yourself and do what works best for you for your own financial decision. You or most people will make mistakes, and in my case, I've made lots of financial mistakes and lots of financial decisions that have gotten me to the point where I'm at now. And the same thing applies for a lot of people in life. They've gone through and they've made mistakes and learn and grow from it. And so when I say, and if you've watched some of my previous videos, treating the stock market as a video game, I'm not gamifying it. I'm treating it as, I play video games and I play video games and I still play video games even today. I learn from my mistakes and I get better at it to play the game, because I know that the next challenge that I'm going to have is going to be even harder. And I don't just play video games. I like to play video games on the hardest setting or near the hardest setting. And why do I do that? To challenge myself to get better. And some people can just play the game and they can play it on the lowest setting. They can play it on, they don't have a chance to lose anything. And if you're going to play the game and not chance to lose anything, then go into very safe, guaranteed assets in that sense, right? You can go into CDs. You can go into put it in a savings account and you can think it's guaranteed, but who knows if it's safe right now anymore with banks crashing, right? Or you can go into other different really safe. You can go into the lowest setting, right? But even then, on the lowest setting in a video game, you can still lose. You can still get killed in the game. You can still die, and you can still lose it all in that sense. But the setting's a lot lower. Where here, stock market, basically the hardest difficulty, nightmare mode or whatever, hardcore mode. This is where you are literally, you can lose it all in that sense. And I literally say that because I've already thought of the process, just like I was saying at the beginning of this video. Once you put the money in, this money's not mine anymore. It is now essentially in Robinhood's account, and they can choose, and they have a certificate, basically a bond with me saying, I will pay you back this amount of money when you choose to withdraw it. But if they crash or they go under, well, the money's gone already. It's gone. It's not mine anymore. I signed it off to them. I'm just playing with it, and hopefully with the chance of maybe I'll win more money or maybe I won't. That's literally what it is. That's how I see it as a video game. And so I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I am literally just here giving you my own personal opinion. And you should purely see this as just entertainment only. Maybe you receive a few ideas out of it and you can go do your own research. That's up to you. Thank you for being here. If you like this content, again, please go ahead and smash that like button. Leave me a comment below. Feel free to subscribe. And we'll catch you all in the next video. I'm pretty sure I'll be posting on Friday. Have a wonderful rest of your day and be safe.